We'll now move on to the race for state representative and the incumbent, Mr. John Bennett.
Should have got me a stool.
I'm sitting on a phone book. Urban areas of Oklahoma seem to receive the majority of the attention of the state legislature. How do you plan to address this problem and fight for rural Oklahoma?
That's a great question. The past 2 years, I gotta let you all know, when you're a freshman in the state house, I'm sure it's the same way in all the houses, but you get up there, they expect you to sit back in your chair, shut up, just listen to whatever they tell you to do. Well, I'm a big believer in two things. One, killing a fly with a sledgehammer is perfectly appropriate. And I also believe go ugly early. And that's what I did, both of those things, when I went up to the state house when I got there 2 years ago. And I told them, I'm planting a flag for Sequoyah County right here. Half of them are like, okay, what part of the state's that from? I said, well, guess what? You're going to know by the end of session. I'm a Republican, proud Republican, because of what the Republicans stand for. However, I represent all Americans because I'm an American first. And I represent rural America because I believe in rural America. I grew up here, I love it here. And when I went up there this year, I fought against the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, the lobbyists, the self-interest groups, you name it, I was fighting with them all. So much so, they nicknamed me the General. And I'm going to continue to do that for you. There's really nothing I can bring back to Sequoyah County. There's a lot of pork and other things like that. But what I can do is bring Sequoyah County to them and say, listen, we're here, we're on the map, and we're going to get something down here. We're going to get business going, we're going to get other things going, and make rural Oklahoma better. The governor knows we're here now. The Department of Commerce knows we're here now. So many people know we're here now, and they're going to know even more so when I get back there this November. Just remember this, no matter what organization or what money they have or who they are, it doesn't matter. I'm your representative, and that's how I'm going to legislate the whole time I'm in there.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Move on to Mr. Rick Agent. Urban areas of Oklahoma seem to receive the majority of the attention of the state legislature. How do you plan to address this problem and fight for rural Oklahoma?
I do see that being a problem. It does seem like there's a lot of incentives that head towards the urban areas. And the one thing that I think that needs to be addressed and I want to take to Oklahoma City is the unemployment rate here in Oklahoma, in Sequoyah County has led the state in more people are employed in Sequoyah County than any other county in the state, and most recently we did move up to where we were second in the state, and that's not really where I want to be. I want to be able to be a loud voice up in Oklahoma City and be able to work with both sides of the parties. I read a quote today where Will Rogers said that partisan politics is the most narrow-minded occupation in the world, and I don't plan on playing it that way. I believe I can cut deals. I believe I can make things happen. I believe I can work with both sides of the aisle, and I believe that I can work with people. And I respect John's attitude of planting our flag there, but I don't bring respect back here to Sequoyah County, and I want people to know who we are and want to work with us down here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Agent. We'll now move on to the candidate for state representative, Mr. Rick Agent. You want to stay there? You can if you want to. We had quite a few questions regarding Obamacare, Medicaid expansion in Oklahoma. So just to lump all that together, what's your take on the Medicaid expansion in Oklahoma? Obamacare in general, what do you think should be done for Oklahomans?
First and foremost, we do need health care here in the state of Oklahoma. And I think the biggest problem that we have is it wasn't addressed at all by our legislature, or it was addressed, but we had all kinds of time to take care of it in the last session, folks. All the information was placed out there, and we chose to do nothing. I wasn't privy to all the information that we had there, but from what I've seen so far, Oklahoma is, I think we've talked about that. We send money up, we get money back, and we're pretty much on the take there. And we're really that way when it comes to health care. If I've seen right, we're giving up $54 million for people that are uninsured. Now, we're going to pay for that one way or the other, folks. We're either going to pay for it in higher prices, or we're going to pay for it through the welfare systems. And we know where that comes from too. It's from our tax dollars. I think we need to take a good hard look at it and consider it. And it's also my understanding that it's a 3-year period there where we can look at it, and at that point in time we can opt out of it still. I just don't think you can sit there and do nothing. And that's what has happened at this point in time.
Thank you, Mr. Director. Mr. Bennett? Your opinion on Medicaid expansion in Oklahoma and healthcare and Obamacare in general?
Well, just like my opponent said, we definitely need healthcare reform in Oklahoma and throughout the United States. But I think better yet, the states need to take care of themselves before the federal government steps in and tries to take care of our health care. Nowhere in the Constitution does it say the federal government is responsible for our health care, our choices on where we get our health care or what health care we can afford or can't afford. As we all know, throughout history, anytime the government, state or federal, gets involved with anything, it messes it up. Messes it up completely. One good thing that the Obamacare did for us was it made the states determine this is a bad deal. And because it's such a bad deal, we need to do something as a state to keep that out of our states. The $54 million that was referenced to, myself and several other legislators went to the governor and urged her not to take that money. Anytime you get a grant or money from the federal government, there's always strings attached. There are some good things in the health care bill, but there's also a lot of bad things. A lot of bad things that will detrimentally affect your freedoms and your health care. The health care bill can print it off as this tall. It stands this high. But only about that much of it is actually about health care. And the rest is about your freedoms and them taking those away. If you don't believe me, stop in my office here in town, Sallisaw, and I'll give you a disc with it on there. And you sit down with me and we'll go through the whole thing. The whole thing. So I think Obamacare is bad. And most of it needs to be repealed. Some of it's good that we can keep. But most of it needs to be repealed. Because it's not only just about a small portion of health care. The biggest portion is about taking away your rights and freedoms.